Hello, everyone. Welcome to my Desert Island Books, BookTube stroke Substack video. I was inspired by Scott Bradfield, the master Bader, who was talking about his Desert Island books. So I thought I'd put my own list together as in a reply, which I found more harder than I thought it was going to be. So without any further wait, because I know you're all on the edge of your seats, here we go. Number one, Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck. Smaller than I remembered, but worth rereading. The criteria for the list, such there is, because it took a lot of time and effort to put the strict criteria together, for this prestigious award, is that I've got to have read it more than once and got to think it's a 5-star review. Okay, so, and I look forward to reading it rather than feeling like it's a chore to read, which of course is no reason to read anything. Next up, The Lord of the Rings. Some people are criticising this book because they haven't read it, or they watch the movies, then try the book. I've read this multiple times. First read it when I was 8, read it every year until I was 18. I think I've read it 4 or 5 times since. It's due a reread. Also, if you're going on a desert island, pretty handy to have a big book like this. Number 3, I haven't got a copy because I'll use it from the library, is Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. And again, another one, could have picked 3 or 4 of his books. I read one every Christmas. But the Great Expectations is the one I think I would enjoy reading and rereading. Number 4, bit of a cheat again. Orwell is another one of my favourite writers, as well as Steinbeck. This is a cheat one. This is his collected essays, the Everyman's Library edition. And if you can see here, it's pretty dense as well. How many pages is this? Pretty dense. I read this during COVID, 1,400 pages. It's another good one to take on the desert island. He doesn't write bad word, Orwell, or a bad sentence. And there's so much. Some of it is humorous, some of it is serious. There's a lot in here. So for one man to put it out that much, I mean, he died young as well. He died about my age, 56. Is pretty impressive. So Orwell, collected essays, getting a training session done lifting up all these books. Next one, Seven Pillars of Wisdom. You could say the opposite of the political spectrum from George Orwell, T. Lawrence. In fact, I think Orwell might have said that Lawrence was the only right-wing intellectual who could write well, who could write good prose. There's plenty of left-wing intellectuals, Orwell said, or someone else said it anyway. I've read this several times. Movie's great as well. I don't know what it is. It might not be politically correct now because of imperialism, but he seemed to work with the Arabs rather than for the benefit of those sad old men in their khaki uniforms carving up land by drawing with straight lines on a map. Um, Lots in here, well worth reading. History book, thought I'd best put another history book in there as well. There's lots of history books you could put in, lots of aspects of history. Another cheap one. Okay, this is called The War the Infantry Knew, 1914 to 1919 by Captain Dunn. J.C. Dunn was a medical officer with the Royal Welsh Fusiliers. You might think, who cares? Well, in the Royal Welsh Fusiliers Battalion that he's talking about, he was a medical officer for them in World War One, was Rupert Graves and Siegfried Sassoon. So you've got 2 excellent writers there who were contributing in their, sorry, Robert Graves, not Rupert Graves, Robert Graves, uh, who, when they wrote their books, he used copies of their books in here, if you see what I mean. So to have those, one fantastic writer in your battalion is something. To have 2 is amazing. And then he's a good writer as well. So I think for me, this is the best account of World War One from that aspect of a battalion, if you want to know what happens on the front line and just behind, rather than which generals were pushing which bits of pawns around the place. Brings me on to not a history novel, but an historical novel called Eagle in the Snow. So I first did this, got republished and repackaged in 2000 when Gladiator came out, the original Gladiator with Russell Crowe, and it's written by Wallace Breen. It's quite large text and more widely spaced. My son's reading it at the moment. And it starts off at Hadrian's Wall with the Welsh. What we're talking about the Welsh for? The Roman legions guarding the border against the Picts. And it moves around and ends up in Germany when the Goths start coming across the frozen Rhine. It's poignant, it's sad, it's got good historical detail, and the author was an officer in the Indian Army on the northwest frontier, so he really captures the feeling of isolation and that military aspect without more the interactions within the military really well. But that's another good comfort read for me. Third of my all-time favorite authors is Raymond Chandler. Yes, I know they're all dead old white males, but they do write well. Um, Another cheat code. This has got The Big Sleep, The Lady in the Lake, and The Little Sister. If Orwell writes good sentences, Chandler writes good paragraphs. He might not have written a great novel, but some of his paragraphs are up there with the best in literature, any literature. So don't just portion him off on the shelf as a crime or hard-boiled person. His writing is fantastic. So in fact, all the people I've chosen here write well. So when you're reading the sentences, it's a pleasure just reading the books, not just about the stories and the plot and everything like that. So that's the Raymond Chandler collection. These Picador ones are quite nice. We've got these on secondhand on Arbe Books, and there's 3 volumes. First 2 are really good. Third one's a bit of a mishmash, but they're worth getting as well. So that's keeping me warm. Now, those of you who've been counting will realise we've got 2 books left. And this is where it started getting tricky. Okay, so far so serious, although Orwell does have some humorous bits in there, and Lord of the Rings is funny in places. Hard toss up now. Jerome K. Jerome, 3 Men in a Boat, a light volume. How many pages is this? Well, it says 178, but it just whizzed through. It's got nice. This edition's got nice little Edwardian type pictures in there as well, which goes in there. It's funny from start to finish, self-deprecating, good language. Oh, in fact, I just want to read all these books again. So that's a good one. Light. This one's another cheat code. You probably can't see the spine, but it's the World of Jeeves. So this one here, Woodhouse wrote a lot as well. And in fact, those who've been paying attention will realise that I've put 2 authors up who went to the same school. So Raymond Chandler and P.G. Woodhouse both went to Dulwich College in South London, which is also, there is one notorious individual, Nigel Farage, who also went there, but I don't think he's written anything good. Anyway, this one is, well, I don't know, how many is it? 34 Jeeves short stories. And that's 34 opportunities to laugh out loud. So I'm undecided which of these. This is good as a standalone novel. This has got so many to choose from. Right, enough of the dead white males. Onto the living females. My 10th novel. Can't choose between these 2. And I've only read each of them once. Milkman by Anna Burns. Don't think I've read a book like that. I read it a few years ago. It's just so good. I need to read it again. It's about the troubles in Northern Ireland, but it's written by someone who grew up in there, and I can't say it's explicit. It's just done with an oversense of menace and written in a different way from any other novel I've written. I need to read that again. And then The Shipping News by Annie Proulx, whose prose just drips off the page. It's just like eating really good food reading her. I think the descriptions in here, don't pay any attention to the movie if you've seen it. This book is something else. Again, I've got to read it again. I just remember really enjoying. I'm sorry, I'm covering it. Really enjoying it. So that's 12 novels. I've got to try and squeeze into 10. If you've got any suggestions, likes, comments, or have you read any of those, then please drop them in the notes below. And if not, happy reading and thanks for watching.